My screen visible? Okay, now. All right. Okay, so previously we were talking about types of system calls. Okay, and I told you there are majorly four kinds that we can categorize: system calls for handling your processes, that falls under system calls for process management. Okay, then it comes system calls for file management, handling the files. Okay, system calls for directory management, handling the operations on your directories, and some miscellaneous system calls. Okay, if we want to just write in a simple words, or if you want to understand it in simple words, okay, the system calls on your process control. This text is visible, or should I zoom in? Yes or no? Okay. Okay. See, pardon me this time for switching between these two windows. I'm not very much familiar with Google Slides, so I'm not very much you know myself compatible with the Google Slides. So that's why I cannot take this content there. So I'm just explaining you that same content with the book that I have provided you guys in your e-content. You guys can find this. This is Galvin 8th edition, chapter number 2. Okay, system calls. So there is a system call for process control. Process controls system calls includes ending and aborting the process, loading and executing, creating and terminating the process. Okay, what are the process attributes? You can set some process attributes using those system calls. You can define the wait time for a process. Okay, you can define the signal event for that process, allocate and free up the memory for that process using those system calls. So those system calls include all these system calls are included for your process control. Okay, then there are system calls which are performing these functions in your file management, that is creating a file, deleting a file, opening and closing the file, giving the permissions to read, write. Okay, getting the file attributes, like what is the size of the file, when was it created. All right, you can set the file attributes, like who is the author of the file, who can go and change the file settings, like that. All right, then there is system calls for device management. Okay, for requesting and releasing a device. In this request and release is what the request and the response that you get in between the programs. All right, that suppose you are working with an application that is automatically detecting the weight of a person. Okay, so when you run that application, at that time, it will prompt you to attach the weighing machine, the digital weighing machine. Okay, so that request for that device is done by this system calls by device management. Okay, then again, releasing of that device. All right, that after the application is successfully done, it should prompt you. Okay, ideally it is not the happening general case, but a good application should give you a prompt that you can now disconnect your external device. Okay, so that releasing system call is comes under this device management system calls. Okay, again, read write permission for those devices, getting those attributes like the specification of the device. Okay, uh, detaching and logically attaching, like reading the you can say the read the information that the device is giving you, like weight अगर suppose आ गया, एक किसी एडम कोई है, एक लड़का है एडम, उसका हमने weight ले लिया that he is 56 kgs. ओके, सो लॉजिकली वो अगर डिवाइस आपके ओएस के साथ अटैच्ड है, देन इट इज गोइंग टू पिक अप दैट ओके 56 is actually, the bits or say the data that is to be buffered into the system. So वो सब कुछ क्या हो गया, device management system call. Okay, then there is an information maintenance that falls under your miscellaneous system calls. Okay, so getting the date and time of your system, setting the process and attributes and files, sorry, device and file attributes. Okay, getting the system data, that is all comes under information maintenance, and that all comes under your miscellaneous file systems. Even the communication, okay, like setting up your network, होम ग्रुप जो आप मैंने आपको एक्सप्लेन किया था, ठीक है, सेंडिंग एंड रिसीविंग द मैसेजेस इन दैट होम ग्रुप, ट्रांसफरिंग ऑफ सम डेटा ओवर द नेटवर्क इन दैट होम ग्रुप. So all those are managed by the system calls. So these are the types of system calls that you can write down. Okay, we'll learn one by one each one of them. Just wait. Did you guys get any error message in while viewing your screen? Any blank, anything? While my screen was getting presented, because in my second device I got one error there. So that's why I'm presenting it again. Visible? Screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I don't know what that thing happened. Fine. Okay, so we are going to see some examples. Now see, Windows is having around 300 system calls. Okay, similarly, Linux is having around 700 system calls. So we are not going to see each one of them, but we are going to see few of them which are, mostly used, or say people are majorly dealing with. Okay, the first one, system call for process management, are fork, wait PID, exec VE, and exit status. Okay. Now, what is this fork, wait PID? All these I'll explain you one by one. Okay. It is again theory to understand. Practically, you are going to see it in your lab sessions. Okay. In your lab sessions, we are going to do that. So understand this now. What is this fork? Okay, the fork here is nothing but a way to create a new process. All right, what it is going to do? It is going to create an exact duplicate of the original process. Suppose you are printing a document, okay, and in that you are repeating the printing of that document. So you can give the from the command prompt, you can give fork, and it is going to create the exact duplicate of your original ongoing process. Okay, and what it is going to return? It is going to return the process ID, which is what? The ID of your created child. Okay, so PID is what? The ID of the child. And you might think, what is this POS6? Okay, POS6 is nothing but the full form is Portable Operating System Interface. If you want to note down, you can note this down. POSIX full form is Portable Operating System Interface. Okay, it is nothing but a standard which is designed by IEEE, so that application portability is maintained. What do I mean by application portability? Suppose I am running one application in Windows OS, let's say Windows 8. Okay, now that same application should run successfully in Windows 10. And who sees that it runs successfully? It is the standard POSIX. Okay, so it is POSIX is nothing but a standard, and the full form is Portable Operating System Interface. Okay, and it is designed just to maintain the application portability. All right, fine. Then there is wait PID, okay, with some arguments that you have to provide. So what it does, that after you create the child process, the parent is going to wait for child to execute, okay, or until the child finishes, the parent is going to wait. Then what it is going to do, once the the child finishes its process, okay, read the next command when child is terminating. That is what this line says, that when the child exists, child की process खत्म हो गई, उसके बाद ही parent अपनी process शुरू फिर से करेगा. ठीक है. Now what are these arguments here? PID is the ID of the child. Okay. Stat lock is nothing but the child's exit status, कि उसकी प्रोसेस क्या अभी किस प्रोसेस पे है, चल रही है नहीं चल रही है, एग्जिट हो गई नहीं हो गई, लाइक दैट. Okay, and options are the various third parameters that you can provide, like wait timing हो गया, कोई दूसरी कोई flag value हो गई. Okay, so options is nothing but the combination of arguments. ठीक है. Next is your EXECV. Okay, so what is that?
Ma'am,
Yes, execute. Yeah.
ma'am, there is a question that if a parent, if a parent is executing and the child occurs, so the parent will stop the execution. So from which point it will start the execution once the child will be terminated?
Parent won't stop its execution. Parent will wait. Exactly the
Yes, ma'am.
process.
Wait. From
The parent process does not get terminated. It waits for the child to finish its work. Okay, and with the stat lock, it will get the the system call that okay, the status of this child process is now finished. Okay, so either 0 or 1. All right, and like whichever is set, and then it is going to read the next command. So what is this read the next command for? It is for the parent process, that okay, it returned that its child process is over, now it can continue with its remaining process.
okay.
Fine. Okay, now see this command, this again, execute, this is execve. Okay, what is this? It is a child executing the user command with the help of what? With the help of this system call. Okay, the name of the file is to be provided. Fine. The pointer to the argument array. Now again, see, all these things you are going to see in your lab. You just understand what are these parameters specifying. Okay, and then there is an environment pointer, that is env ionpe. All right, that is the name that I've given here. So that is an environment pointer, which is going to tell you that exactly where the file is in, getting stored for the program to run. All right, then there is a process for exit, and you are going to terminate the process, and it is going to return you the status, that is the exit status. Okay, now let me show you some comparisons. Okay, I again have to present my screen again. Wait. See, in the book Galvin, there is a comparison to understand exactly the system calls between your Windows and Linux or Unix, and I wanted to show you that. Okay, so see, we have covered this process control. So in Windows, when you give the system call for create process, in Unix it is called fork. Okay, to exit the process, you have the system call called exit. Okay, and in Windows there is wait for single object, that is if you want a process to wait for a given amount of time. Okay, in Unix you have wait system call. Okay, similarly, for file manipulation, device manipulation, information maintenance, and communication, you have list of Windows system call. Okay, and similar to that, you have list of Linux or Unix system calls. For example, if you look at this file manipulation, create file. okay, is one of the system call. So there is an open system call inside Unix and Linux. Okay, then there is read write files. Okay, then so for that, similarly in your Linux or Unix, you are going to have read and write commands. What are these are your system calls. If you remember, in the previous session I told you about that printf statement. I showed you the user mode and the kernel mode. So in the kernel mode it was written what? Write. So what is that? Write is to, you know, display something. So that is write over the file. So that is write. Okay, if you want to close that, close the file manipulation, you want to close one file, then in Windows if it is written like close handle, in Unix it is written as close command. So these are all your system calls. Okay, and in your command prompt, like in your virtual OS or even in your Windows command prompt also, when you are giving all these system calls, some manipulation of either process or file or device is going to happen. Okay, so these are the some of the examples. You can see these are the miscellaneous ones. For the protection, it is the miscellaneous one, altering the mode, unmasking, that is in Windows you understand it as initializing your security descriptors. Okay, so all these commands, even in the communication also, piping is one of the mode, or say, or system call, where you are exactly piping the data or say the processes. Okay, then there is device manipulation, if you want to read the device or write the device. Okay, so these are the two comparisons which are available inside your book. Okay, you can see it. And why I am giving Galvin, because Tenenbaum does have the information, but it is not in such in this deep manner. In here you'll get examples, quite a lot of examples to understand the concept. Okay, so see, as I said, when you go for file management, there is an open command, open system call, right? So in that open system call, what you are giving the file name, okay, which you want to open. All right, and if you have any another parameters, that open read only, like a parameter in the sense that in which mode you want to open. So if O is the name of the file, then O underscore RD only. Okay, or RD is read, then O underscore WR is write. Okay, write only. Or you can say read write and create command. Okay, so these are the following codes that you need to specify when you want to open any file. All right, then there is a close file. So simply just give the close command, write the close command, and in the brackets you write the file name which you want to close. So from the command prompt directly you are going to close the file. You don't need to go and click on that cross and all that. Okay, so that is a system call. Then there is a read system call. Okay, read for again there is a list of parameters. FD is again the file name. Okay, n bytes is the number of bytes that you want to read from that file, and buffer is actually the size in which you are going to keep those readed data. Okay, so read data from file into the buffer. So that is one of the system call in file management. Then there is a write system call, where you are going to write the data from the buffer into the file. Okay, so in the examination, if you are asked that identify the file system call for file management, okay, then these can be given, these any one of these can be given in the option. All right, something like this, linking, sorry, lseek also. Okay, what it is, moving the file pointer for reading or writing, so that it is going to begin from anywhere in the file. Suppose you want to open, you have opened one file. Okay, it is, let's say, things to do. Okay, and there are 1 2 3 4 5 6 things listed inside that file, but you don't want to read first and second, you want to start from the third one. Okay, so you can do that with the help of a system call. All right, then you want to get the status of the file. So for that you have stat system call. where you are going to provide the name of the file. Okay, and other like end buff is what, nothing but the options, various options that you are going to get. Okay, so with that, what you are going to, with this system call, what you are going to get, you are going to get the type of the file, the size, the time when it was created, who created it. Okay, the author, like how many times that files was modified, if that attribute is present. Okay, so all these things you will get with the stat system call. Okay, and these system calls are related to your file management, right? Now there are some few of the system calls regarding your directory management. Okay, you, let's say you have your D drive. Okay, in that D drive you have a folder called fourth sem. Inside that fourth sem you have let's say five other folders with individual subject name. Okay, in that you have OS. So again, in the OS you are going to have some of the contents of your OS. Okay, so what is that? It is one form of a directory. Now you can access these directories by your command prompts too. Now for example, if you want to make a new directory, completely new directory, okay, then what you need to do, you use mkdir. Okay, so it is make directory command in your system call, which in which you have need to give the name which you want to keep for the directory, and the mode means in which readable mode you want to keep it. You want to keep it in the writable mode, you want to keep it in read write mode, both. So you have to provide a code there. Again, this practically we will see in your lab. Okay, these are all included in the basic commands of Linux. Okay, and when we come to the lab, that is what we are going to see. We are going to execute these system calls one by one. Fine. Then there is another system call named directory, that is removing the directory. Okay, so if you want to simply remove an empty directory, you can remove it by just providing the name, right? Rmdir. Okay, and the inside that bracket, name of the directory which you want to remove. Okay, so it is going to remove your directories. Now, suppose you want to link two files into different directories. Okay, then again there is a link system call. Okay, name one and name two are the names of the file that you want to link. For example, if you can see onto your left side here, there is one directory user. Okay, and inside that I have AST as a folder. Now in that folder I have total three files. Okay, and these are the you can say the link IDs of those files. Okay, I have one file called mail, I have one file called games. Okay, and I have a file called test. All right, and there is another folder in the directory user. Okay, but the folder is different. The name is Jim. Okay, now in that I have one bin folder, I have a file named memo, I have a file called f.c. Okay, and I have one file called program1. Now let's say I want to link this memo. Okay, link this memo in here in this AST with some different name. Can I do that? Yes, I am able to do that due to this link system call. Okay, there what I have to do, I have to mention which file I want to link. Okay, so let's say user gym memo, and where I want to store it. So, and with what name. Okay, I can change my name. So, of that particular file. So, user AST note. Now, if you can see on your right hand side here, now AST has four files. Okay, there is one file called note, but the ID of the file is same, that is 70. Okay, so these two files, or say these two directories, got linked with one file having ID 70. Okay, understood the example? Yes or no, students? Examples पता चला? Okay. अब जैसे लिंक किया है, as you have linked it, you can also unlink, that is remove the directory entry. ठीक है, and unlink करने के लिए क्या करना है, simply just give the name. Okay, then there is a directory system call called mount. Now what does this mount do? It is allowing two files to be merged as one. Okay, so and what it is going to do, it is going to mount all your all the contents of one file into the another file. So special क्या करेगा कि आपका name हो गया वो, what is special, special is the name of the block, that special file for the drive where I mean you are merging those two files. Okay, name again is the destination space where we want to mount the file. कौन सी जगह पे आपको ये जो आपने merge करवाई है file वो आपको store करनी है. Okay, and flag is what, again the mode or say the access rights of that special file that you are creating. Special file means the merged file. ओके कि उसकी उस मर्ज्ड फाइल के एक्सेस आपको क्या रखने हैं, रीड राइट रखने हैं, रीड ओनली रखने हैं, राइट ओनली रखने हैं. सो दैट इज द फ्लैग. Okay, so this is the mount system call of your directory management. And what does it do? It is allowing two file systems to be merged into one. Okay, now coming to some miscellaneous system calls. Okay, miscellaneous means जिनकी कोई category नहीं है, but we are using them frequently. All right, so miscellaneous system calls. And what is this? The first one of them is what, changing the working directory. Suppose आप काम कर रहे हो D drive की एक folder में, ठीक है, now you want to change it. So either you are going to go for back options, right, giving the command prompt. If you give the back options, like if you do dot dot, okay, then it is going to go back. All right, but you don't want to give that command. आपको इतनी बार, let's say you are into like third or fourth level in your existing directory और आपको अपनी directory change करनी है, then what you are going to do, just give this command chdir, that is change directory, and the directory name in which you want to go. Okay, so just give this and directly you will be taken to that particular directory, that working directory. Okay, so change the working directory. Then there is change mode. Okay, suppose मेरी एक फाइल है, ठीक है, मैंने एक फाइल का नाम दे दिया tp1to1. ओके, एक्सक्लूसिव, tp1to1 एक्सक्लूसिव, ऐसे मैंने दे दिया. और अभी एक्सक्लूसिव है तो मैंने उसके राइट्स क्या रखे हैं, राइट ओनली. ठीक है, कोई रीड नहीं कर सकता उसमें, सिर्फ आप कंटेंट्स भर सकते हो. यू कैन राइट ओनली, यू कैन नॉट रीड. अभी लेट्स से नाउ लाइक आई एम वेरी मच गुड विथ यू गाइज, आई एम कंफर्टेबल विथ यू गाइज, तो उस tp1to1 एक्सक्लूसिव की राइट्स मैंने चेंज कर दी ताकि all 53 or 83 of you can have access. So if I want to change that file protection, I'm going to use this chmod. Okay, change mod. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to specify the name of the file. Okay, and I'm going to specify the mod which I now want to keep. Okay, so available mods are what, read, write and execute. And again you are going to give it in bit format, you are not going to write it as read or write. Okay, वो bit format में आते हैं. What is that bit format, I'll tell you in the lab. Okay, but understand, like it is for the bit, and you can set those bits for the user, you can set those different bits for the owner, you can set different bits for the group also. Okay, so that is your ch mod. Fine. Now again there is one kill command. Okay, what this basically, this kill command is going to do, it is either going to tell that the process is going to get killed. Okay, or it is going to force some process to reread again some of the you can say instructions. Okay, common uses इसके दो है, either simply it is going to kill the process whichever you specify. Okay, or it is going to force a process, let's say here I have mentioned process n, okay, to reread its configuration files. Okay, ये इसका काम है. ठीक है, simple words में. All right, फॉर एग्जाम्पल अभी यहाँ पे मैंने पैरामीटर्स में क्या दिया है, PID and signal. Now what is this signal? Sends a signal to the process. So it can be like लाइक जीरो और वंस, बाइनरीज में ही होगा, ठीक है. Kill system call is the way user and user processes send signals. Okay, and if the process is prepared to catch that signal, okay, then the signal handler, अलग से इसका भी एक system call है, signal handler run होगा. Okay, if it is not ready to take the signal, then what it is going to do, it is going to simply kill that process. ठीक है, जो भी PID आपने मेंशन किया है, it is going to kill that process. And the common use for using this miscellaneous system call is either to kill the process with the specified process ID, okay, or it is going to force that particular process, जिसकी process ID आपने दी है, to reread its configuration files. Okay, then comes time system call. Okay, it is going to return you the current time in seconds of your system. As I told you here, यहाँ पे ऊपर मैंने आपको दिखाया था, here information maintenance में get time or date, set time or date, so that falls under, मैंने बोला था ना कि इतना कोई specified category नहीं है, so those kinds of system calls falls under these miscellaneous system calls. Okay, clear till here, everyone? Students, yes or no? Like अगर मैं बोलूँ ऐसे कि fork किस में use होता है, fork is what kind of a system call, then you should be able to answer that it is a process management system call. ठीक है, या तो मैं बोल दूँ कि CHDIR कौन से टाइप का सिस्टम कॉल है, then you should be able to identify that it is a directory management system call. Okay, these are the some examples. As I said, in your Linux you have around 700 system calls, in Windows you have around 300 system calls. Okay, तो obvious है कि possible तो नहीं है कि आप सारे के सारे याद रखो, लेकिन जो most frequent है, ठीक है, वो आपको याद रहने चाहिए. You should be able to know that what those system calls are doing. Okay, now see, these system calls are not just, you know, say restricted to your command prompt and you writing the commands. Okay, there can be interrupts also. Interrupts is also one of a kind of a system call. Okay, so what is that interrupt? Understand now first. An interrupt is actually a signal to your processor. Okay, and who is giving that signal? That signal is emitted by either your hardware, which is associated with the program, or the software itself. Okay, for what purpose this signal is? It is indicating some kind of an event that needs immediate attention. Okay, now एक simplest example ले लेते हैं इसका, पहले सॉफ्टवेयर का लेती हूँ. Let's say I want to upload a video on YouTube. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to open my YouTube studio. I will click on upload. Okay, and on upload I will get one prompt box that drag your files here or upload from the computer. Fine, so when I click on that upload on the computer, I will get one more pop-up window from my system where I'll be giving the list of files, वीडियो फाइल्स जहाँ मुझे ढूंढनी है कि मेरी वीडियो फाइल कौन सी डायरेक्टरी में है. अच्छा, ये मेरा विंडो चालू है, ठीक है, माय विंडो इज देयर, बट आई एम accessing some another tab at the same moment of time, then that window will blink. वो आपको पहले पूछेगा कि पहले मुझे मेरा ये काम खत्म करो. ओके, सिलेक्ट द फाइल एंड स्टार्ट अपलोडिंग, देन ओनली यू गो टू अनदर टैब. ठीक है, तो ये जो वो ब्लिंकिंग होती है, या तो लेट्स से यू आर, सेकेंड एग्जाम्पल इज यू आर इंस्टॉलिंग अ सॉफ्टवेयर, alright, or you are asking, you are getting a prompt box to be asked that this particular program is trying to change some of the programs in your computer, do you allow, yes or no? Okay, so before doing any other process, वो क्या हो गया कि एक अलग से आपको ब्लिंक आ गई. ठीक है, आप तो अपना काम कर ही रहे थे, इंस्टॉल करने को रख दिया, लेकिन एक ब्लिंक आ गई. सो व्हाट इज दैट ब्लिंक? इट इज एन इंटरप्ट. ओके, सो दैट इज योर सॉफ्टवेयर इंडिकेटिंग एन इवेंट कि जिस पे यू नीड एन इमीडिएट अटेंशन. अच्छा, हार्डवेयर का अगर देखा जाए तो अगेन हार्डवेयर आप लेट्स से आपने एक राइटिंग पैड, ओके, डिजिटल राइटिंग पैड आपने अटैच किया, fine. So it is going to automatically start installing, initializing its drivers, but in between there comes an error. Okay, so it is going to tell you that this particular configuration does not match. What do you want to do? So वो क्या हो गया, वो हार्डवेयर का इंटरप्ट हो गया, ठीक है. So what is this, what is, it is, these are all signals that are given to the processor then communicates with your OS, and then OS gives you these window pop-ups. So what this processor is responding by suspending your current event, ठीक है, saving its state and executing the function needed by the interrupt. आपने जो भी उसको ओके, यस, कैंसल, क्विट जो भी आपने दिया है वो उस पर काम करेगा, ठीक है. And again this interruption is temporary, and you don't, and after the interrupt handler is finishing its required processes, okay, again आपकी सारी जो भी आगे की processes है वो normally resume हो जाएगी, fine. And to categorize, there are two types of interrupts. One is your hardware interrupt, okay, and second is your software interrupt. दोनों के मैंने examples दिए, so this particular slide, okay, is easy for you to I guess understand now. अगर हार्डवेयर इंटरप्ट की बात करें तो व्हेन यू प्रेस अ की इन योर कीबोर्ड, और मैं अपना इवन माउस भी ट्रिगर करूँ तो देखो यहाँ पे एक आ गई, यहाँ पे एक विंडो जैसी एक मतलब एक डिस्प्ले आ रही है. तो व्हाट इज दैट, इट इज वन काइंड ऑफ एन इंटरप्ट. अभी मैं मेरे माउस को कुछ नहीं करूंगी तो इट विल गो अवे, ठीक है. So what is this? It is one kind of a hardware interrupt. Like pressing a key on the keyboard or moving the mouse triggers some hardware interrupts, which is going to tell the processor that either it has to read the keystroke जो भी आप प्रेस कर रहे हो वो सारे इनपुट लेने हैं, या तो फिर मेरी माउस पोजीशन, बेस्ड ऑन माई माउस पोजीशन इट हैज टू आइडेंटिफाई द क्लिकिंग इवेंट, ठीक है. तो वो आपका हो गया क्या, हार्डवेयर इंटरप्ट. सॉफ्टवेयर इंटरप्ट की बात करें तो व्हाट इज दैट, एरर्स ऑफ द इवेंट्स दैट आर अकरिंग ड्यूरिंग प्रोग्राम एग्जीक्यूशन. मैंने कहा कि लाइक आप कोई एक अटैच कर रहे हो आउटर डिवाइस राइटिंग पैड जैसा, तो ऑटोमेटिकली इनिशियलाइज तो होना शुरू हो गया, लेकिन कंपैटिबिलिटी के इश्यूज आ गए बीच में. तो वो जो एरर जो आई, और से दैट इवेंट दैट अकर्ड, ओके, ड्यूरिंग द प्रोग्राम एग्जीक्यूशन कैन नॉट बी हैंडल्ड बाय द प्रोग्राम इटसेल्फ, ठीक है. आपका हार्डवेयर आपको नहीं बोलेगा कि मैं कंपैटिबल नहीं हूँ, वो आपको कौन बोलेगा, आपका ओएस, ठीक है. And the example again is given in a program. Suppose you are dealing with a program where you are dividing a number by zero. तो try करना कभी divide a number by zero. It is going to go, in wait state only. क्योंकि anything divided by zero, it is not possible in in this arithmetic logic unit. So that is the kind of a software interrupt and hardware interrupt. Clear with this two concepts of system calls and system calls with interrupts? Okay, fine. We are going to keep it till here. Now only two topics remaining in this. Okay, that is your OS structure and OS as a distributed system. Let me open the syllabus. Okay, OS as a distributed system, okay, and operating system structures, okay. That 2 points are remaining, and then your unit number 1 is over. Okay, so on I have next lecture on Wednesday. Okay, so on Wednesday your unit 1 will be over, and if time permits I'll start with process concepts also. Okay, so meanwhile you guys just go through with what are the system calls, their workings. Okay, that is what we have seen today. We have also seen the services, so just try to recall them, all right, when you come for the next session. We are keeping the session till here. Thank you all for attending the session. BD students, 1 to 13 numbers in the chat. Maintain the serial order. And don't leave the meeting. I want to discuss a few points with you. BD students done? Okay. AI 1 to 10? Students don't leave the meet. 11 to 20? 21 to 30? 31 to 40? 41 to 50? 51 to 60? 61 to 75? 'AID to D students?